Right, let's let's get it going. Let's get the discussion going. Chelsea nil, Liverpool nil at Stamford Bridge. Bruno ball underway, and yeah, I would say in style, but it really was not in style in the slightest. But yeah, lads, whoever's in the chat or whoever's in the stream, let me know by typing something into the chat. Obviously, let's get a bit of a conversation going. I'm not going to stream for too long tonight because it is quite late and I do have work in the morning. But yeah, we'll get our thoughts over and done with regards to this game. I just decided to stream because, to be honest, I really did not want to make a video on this game. I just really wasn't bothered, to be fair. Just, yeah, a fourth consecutive 0-0 draw between Chelsea and Liverpool, obviously after the draw at Anfield earlier in the season and the Carabao Cup final and FA Cup finals last season. So yeah, Daniel Knight, 14, welcome to the stream. He says Havertz needs to leave in the summer, not good enough, we need a top striker. To be honest, I think Havertz was poor. I don't think he had his best game. I do think, however, I think he was working off scraps for the majority of the game, in my opinion, and I do think that, he did well in terms of his effort and his work rate. But yeah, obviously it is. I'm just kind of not clutching at straws, but you know what I mean. I'm making excuses for him maybe a little bit. So, but yeah. I mean, where do we even start? I suppose we'll go through the overall performance. I think it was, to be fair, I think it was an okay performance overall. I think it was, to be honest, more a case of, well, where can we get the stats first of all? There we go. There's the stats now on screen. I don't know if you can see that first of all. Oh yeah, you can. Okay, you can see the stats. 2.12 expected goals to 0.35 for Liverpool. They marginally edged us in possession, but it was essentially 50-50. 12 shots to us for 7 for Liverpool. 3 on target, they had 4 on target, and yeah, 4 big chances missed to their 0. That is absolutely outstanding, to be fair. I actually didn't even notice that. And you know what? At least one thing on the bright side, we're 1 point away from the elusive 40-point mark, so we're nearly safe, ladies and gentlemen. We move on to level points with Fulham. They do have a game in hand over us, but it doesn't matter. And yeah, we're still in the bottom half of the table. Liverpool drop to 8th as Aston Villa get a very big away win against Leicester to move themselves up to 7th, and they are actually now maybe in contention for a European place now. I don't think they'll get it because obviously they've played one more game than most of those teams, some 2 games more than some teams, but yeah, back to Chelsea anyway. Just, to be honest, almost a carbon copy of the game against Aston Villa on Saturday, where we create absolutely an insane amount of chances and just cannot finish for love nor money, to be fair. So yeah, that's why the title says new manager, same problems, because it literally was the exact same scenario that Graham Potter dealt with at the weekend against Aston Villa. And yeah, we're lucky he wasn't in charge for this one, because he'd be getting absolutely hounded. And yeah, as poor as the record he had with Chelsea was, whoever came in was going to have the same issues. Obviously, Bruno Saltor isn't the most experienced manager or whatever, but it's looking like we're going to get, it's looking like we're going to get Julian Nagelsmann in the next week or two maybe. And barring maybe a new manager bounce of the highest order, I think he's probably going to have the similar problems, to be fair, like Potter had, in terms of the lack of clinical edge in this Chelsea team. I mean, 4 big chances missed. That is very, very, very worrying, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll get into some of the individual performances from the players. Obviously, he set up with a 3-5-2, which I think was mainly to outweigh and outrun Liverpool in that midfield. Jordan Henderson, Fabinho and Curtis Jones, who I don't think were the best. To be honest, I think Liverpool were quite poor. I think it was a case of a team that were decent and couldn't finish their dinner against a team that were poor in Liverpool, to be fair. I think they offered absolutely no threat whatsoever, and yet that was as shown in their 0 big chances created, and that was obviously evident. There was a few times they got in and around the penalty area, but didn't really make anything of it. And yeah, Daniel Knight 14 says, who do you want to be the next Chelsea manager? You know what, I'll get onto that near the end of the stream, so give me 5-10 minutes roughly, and I'll get into who I want to be the next Chelsea manager. But yeah, in terms of the individual performances for Chelsea, I think Enzo Fernandez got Sky Sports' man of the match, which I think Enzo was really good, don't get me wrong, and he's just an absolute Rolls Royce of a footballer, isn't he, Enzo Fernandez? What a player we have got on our hands, and the first big money signing we've made in a long time where you can actually say that he's looking like he's going to be a success at the club, especially given the fact he's only, I think, 22 years of age, has a lot of potential to improve. Will, in my opinion, no doubt be a world-class midfielder in the next few years, very, very soon. And yet just his range of passing, and it's not just his range of passing, it's his efficiency in his passing and how he passes the ball and his decision making in passing the ball, where he pings them out wide to Chilwell, pings them out wide to Reece James, gets the fullbacks a lot more involved, which obviously widens the pitch for us. And yeah, just his ability to make things happen from deep is absolutely unbelievable, to be fair. And he gets us into the final third so much quicker, and that's, in my opinion, why in recent, last month or two maybe, under Graham Potter, and obviously tonight as well under Bruno Saltor, that we have created a lot more chances than we were before he was signed, because I think he is getting us into the final third at a lot quicker pace. And he's just an absolute Rolls Royce of a footballer. Gets stuck in defensively as well. Has a bit of tenacity about him, a bit of bite about him, and just an absolutely quality player we have on our hands, Enzo Fernandez, and I'm so glad we have him at our disposal. I really am. And to be honest though, like I was saying, I think Enzo was really good, but I think my man of the match was this man here. If it lets us click on him, Wesley Fofana. What an absolutely unbelievable performance from him, a complete performance. And you know what? One thing that I really like about Fofana is not only is he very comfortable, very assured in possession in terms of the fact he's able to carry the ball out from the back. He's obviously a very good athlete, and his first touch and his overall ability in possession is very strong. But I think his defensive ability is kind of going under the radar. I think his ability to sniff out danger and read the game and be in the right place at the right time to make match-defining blocks, really, like we saw from that shot from Fabinho, where he was in the right place at the right time. There was a few chances as well where he got himself into the right situation to make interceptions to win the ball back for us. And I thought that was perfectly indicated in his performance tonight. I thought he was absolutely brilliant. Had Darwin Núñez on wraps, and pretty much everyone who came across his path, Wesley Fofana. I thought it was an absolutely proper performance from him. And I think he was personally my man of the match, in my opinion. I really didn't think he put a foot wrong in the entirety of the game. I think João Felix, I think he was another one that was really good. Obviously, it's just that final bit with him sometimes where it's the output in terms of when he gets into the box and when he has a chance to finish off a chance, and hence why he hasn't scored a lot of goals. I do think he's been quite unlucky in terms of the fact he's hit the post and the crossbar on quite a number of occasions. But I think there's not a player we've had since Eden Hazard for absolute sure that makes things happen out of absolutely nothing like he does. And I would be so upset if we don't sign him permanently. I know there's a section of the Chelsea fan base that don't want us to sign him permanently because of that, final bit, like I said, and obviously because Nkunku's coming in and how you'll fit all those players into the puzzle. But I think this guy is different gravy, especially given the fact as well he's so young. And there's a possibility of us getting him for £80 million. He's already now adjusted to the Premier League. Maybe, with a bit more time in the Premier League in this team under a new manager, whether that be Nagelsmann or someone else, I think he could really explode and really be an important player for us in the future of this new reign. Because since he's come in, I've been so impressed with him. He's one of those players that when he gets the ball, you're confident he's going to do something with it, and that's really. That's the type of player I love to see. Players who get in the ball, will try things, and he's capable of the extraordinary. And I think he's an absolutely incredible talent, João Felix. And slowly becoming my favourite player at Chelsea, to be fair. They say never fall in love with a lone player, but to be fair, that was inevitable after the Fulham game on his debut. Even though he got sent off, he was absolutely unbelievable that day. And ever since, he's only had maybe one game where you can say he was poor, but besides that, I think he's really made things happen. He's been our brightest spark going forward, and just needs that little bit of a click in terms of in front of goal and his final output. And I think we could have ourselves an absolute world beater for the future. I really hope we sign him permanently. Honestly, I really do. But Olu's in the chat. Welcome to the stream, my friend. Havertz is so useless. Yeah, it seems like that's the theme for tonight. Is Kai Havertz. I don't know what's happening on the screen here now, but like I said it to Daniel there a minute ago. I think with Kai Havertz. I think his work ethic and his work rate was decent tonight. I think also I will cut him a little bit of slack because I think that for the majority of the game he was dealing off mostly predominantly scraps. But yeah, like I said, I mean, is he good enough to lead the line for a Chelsea team that wants to win a Premier League title, which is obviously the ultimate ambition, and obviously Champions League titles as well? Maybe not. Maybe not. And if we can find a role that perfectly suits him in this team, because I think he's a player who's high risk, high reward in terms of playing him, because if you get him on a good day, he offers you a lot in this team, but how often do we get his day remains the big question, to be fair. So, yeah, that's my opinion on Kai Havertz anyway. But yeah, if you missed it so far, just talking about Enzo Fernandez, Wesley Fofana and Joao Felix, who I think were the main three standout players today, especially Fofana, who I think was absolutely unreal. I mean, if this guy stays injury-free, we've got ourselves an absolute gem here, guys. I know he cost us, 70 or 80 million, but if we can keep him fit, I think it'll be worth it. So young as well, so assured in the ball, reads danger absolutely brilliantly. And yeah, to be honest, I think if he stays injury-free, we've got ourselves a very good centre-back. Speaking of centre-backs, what has happened to Badiashile? And why is he not playing? I don't understand. I mean, don't get me wrong, Cucurella I thought was alright today. And I see the role he plays in this Chelsea team, given the fact he's got a little bit more bite and aggression and tenacity than Badiashile has. But it's a strange one, because I don't think Badiashile's done anything particularly wrong to be out of the team, to be fair. He's been absolutely brilliant since he's come into the team. And all of a sudden he just seems to be out with the team. I mean, there's no real way of describing it. And yeah, I think he's another one that's got a lot of potential for us. So young. I think he's 21 years of age. And his passing range for a centre-back and his composure on the ball is exactly what we need. He's obviously very tall as well, being 6'4". So I think him and Fofana are two centre-backs for us now that I think are really ones to build that defence around. I really do. Reece James at right back. Obviously Malo Gusto coming in as well to compete with him. Ben Chilwell or Cucurella at left back. We've got a decent little team growing. I think it's just that final edge. Like I said again, it was a very similar performance to Aston Villa on Saturday, where we dominated the game, created chances and just could not score. But yeah, as Daniel Knight says there, good to see Kante back, and thanks for reminding me, because I actually wanted to say it was good to see Kante back. And I think he had a decent game. I think he had a good game. I think he was putting himself about, obviously, as Kante does, just running all over the fucking gaff. And yeah, I think on the ball as well, he was decent, to be fair. I think he was decent, and hopefully now we get to see Kante, the proper N'Golo Kante, in these Champions League games against Real Madrid, because he could be the difference between going through and going out. He really could, because on the Champions League stage, when the lights are shining brightest, this guy steps up, and my God, he was absolutely insane for us in that Champions League winning run in 2021. But yeah, like I said, just another one of those typical Chelsea performances that you could just say is, yeah, just a typical Chelsea performance where we create chances, just cannot score. But yeah, Bruno Saltor in interim manager. Bruno Ball, as we saw tonight. How long he'll be in charge for is anyone's guess, really, to be fair. I think it's fair to say it probably won't be for a long time now. I think it looks like Julian Nagelsmann will be the next manager, and if you're asking my opinion on it, I still have to do some research on his style of play. But it seems from what I've seen of him so far and what I know of him so far that obviously he's a very young manager, 35 years of age, very inexperienced in terms of his age, I suppose. Not inexperienced in terms of his managerial career, though, because he managed at RB Leipzig for a good bit, did a good job there. Obviously, a lot of people think was very harshly sacked from Bayern Munich. I think there was murmurs of him, bit of unrest between him and the players. Whether that's true or not, obviously, remains to be seen. But yeah, from what I've read about him so far, he seems like a very promising young manager, very good tactician who is willing to change his style of play, to make changes if a game isn't going our way. It seems like he's a decent man manager, although he is strict, so it's very similar to Thomas Tuchel in that sense, who obviously the fans would love, because the majority of the fans, myself included, absolutely love Thomas Tuchel. But yeah, no, it'll be an interesting one to see who our next manager is now. To be fair, I think it's a case similar actually to when Tuchel got the job, I think in 2021, where it's a case where it's like there isn't actually an outstanding option for us, and there isn't a manager that absolutely everybody in the fan base is going, yes, this is the guy. Because Obviously, at the moment, it's Nagelsmann, Luis Enrique, Ruben Amorim, Mauricio Pochettino. I've seen small links to Olivier Glasner, I think it is. There's obviously minor links to Jose Mourinho, Carlo Ancelotti, which I can't see happening, to be honest. The main ones I think right now are Nagelsmann, Enrique, and maybe Amorim and Pochettino as the front four for this job. Obviously, De Zerbi's got ruled out. But in terms of who I go for, to be honest, I actually have no clue. I think it has to be between Nagelsmann and Enrique. I think it's gotten to a stage. Personally, for me, my ideal option is Carlo Ancelotti, because I think he'd work with the squad he has. He showed in his time at Chelsea when he was there from 2009 to 2011 that he doesn't need a massive amount of money to work with. He'll get the best out of the team. And the one thing about Ancelotti is he's not a manager that has a set style of play. He's a manager that adjusts to the personnel that he has at his disposal and works around that. And that's why he's been so successful in his career, and obviously was massively successful at Chelsea. I think it's debatable that it is Roman Abramovich's worst mistake as Chelsea owner, sacking Carlo Ancelotti in the tunnel at Goodison Park after coming second fiddle to Man United, where we absolutely collapsed mid-season when Ray Wilkins got sacked. So I think Ancelotti's my ideal option, but it doesn't look like that's going to be one that's viable at this moment in time. So I think between Nagelsmann and Enrique, I'd probably edge towards Nagelsmann, just because he's got more experience at club level. Luis Enrique, has he done enough to be a good enough manager for Chelsea to win titles long term, apart from his Barcelona days where he had arguably the best front three in football history, with Neymar, Suarez and Messi obviously? I don't know. So I personally would go with Nagelsmann, again, because the thing is, he's a project manager. Will Chelsea fans have the patience, like we showed with Graham Potter and the likes of obviously Maurizio Sarri? Will Chelsea fans have the patience to stick it out with Nagelsmann if things go tits up again? You know, like it did under Graham Potter, for example, and under Sarri at times as well. I'm not so sure. But the thing is with Nagelsmann, if he comes in, he needs to have a good start, because that's the reason why Thomas Tuchel was so loved, is because he had a good start. Obviously, not a better start you can have when you win the Champions League in your first 3 months in charge. But it is important for Nagelsmann. To be honest, I'm in a situation now where I actually just want us to, I know it's easy to say, but give it Brown now till the end of the season. But I just think we should have an interim manager till the end of the season. I know the board won't be thinking like that, and obviously it's just my opinion. I don't think we'll win the Champions League. And I don't think Nagelsmann will massively improve our chances of winning it. Just my personal opinion anyway. I could be wrong, obviously, and I'll be very happy if I am wrong, if he comes in and wins it for us. But I think it's best right now to, if you're appointing Nagelsmann, I think it's best to leave it till the summer. So it's almost like a fresh start almost. You're not dealing with the same problems that obviously Potter left with. In terms of the massive squad, I mean, we've heard stories recently about Mudryk and Madueke having to change outside the changing room and stuff for training, and how Potter was playing 11v11 matches and obviously then having to play 9v9 matches on the side because we've got such a fucking massive squad. So I think it makes sense, in my opinion, to leave it to Bruno Saltor till the end of the season. See what happens. Obviously, we've got absolutely nothing to play for in the Premier League. Just let this horrendous season just dry out and just reach its conclusion in as little pain as humanly possible. It's going to be a painful end to the season, especially if we get knocked out of the Champions League. It's going to be a long end to the season. We're obviously still in the bottom half right now. So I think it would be the best option, in my opinion anyway, to give it to Nagelsmann at the end of the season if Nagelsmann is to be appointed, because I think it would be an element of the fresh start. You know, trimming the squad a little bit, having a pre-season at the very start to iron out the squad and the players that he wants to keep, and then we go again for next season and see if we can get back into the top four, which obviously is going to be the aim. And anything higher is probably going to be an overachievement next season, I think it's fair to say, given the fact that obviously it's extremely unlikely that we will not be in the Champions League next season. So I think that's my personal opinion on the manager situation. Let me know in the chat who you guys want, because Daniel Knight has just said I would go for Nagelsmann with Nkunku coming in next season. Good point as well. He has worked with Nkunku at RB Leipzig. So yeah, let me know in the comments, or in the chat, lads, especially Chelsea fans, who you would go for our next manager in the summer. And also leave a like on the stream if you are enjoying and you want me to do more streams, because I am looking to do more streams very soon. I decided to do a stream for this one mainly because I was not arsed doing a video, to be fair, on a 0-0 draw where it was the same situation as we saw against Aston Villa. I could just copy and paste that video. The only noticeable factor is the fact I talked about Graham Potter in that video. So, but yeah, leave a like on the stream, be massively appreciated. Leave down in the chat who you think the best option is for Chelsea for the next permanent manager, and when you think they should take over. Should it be as soon as possible, or should it be at the end of the season, like I'm saying? Next season can't be the same season like this. I don't think it can get any worse than this season, to be fair. I really don't. And look, I think a big issue with us is confidence right now. I really do. I think a massive issue is confidence, and that's why I think it could be best for Nagelsmann to take over in the summer as well, because then he has an easier job in terms of getting confidence back into this team, because like I said, it will feel like a fresh start under a new manager and a clean slate for pretty much all the players, that especially the ones he wants anyway. Sean Fogarty, MCFC OK, says, "Hi mate, used to watch you in lockdown but haven't watched in a while." Well, welcome back to the channel, my friend. I actually feel like I recognise that name, to be fair. So welcome back to the channel. Man City, are they going to win the league? Let me know. I believed it a few weeks ago, but I think Arsenal in the last few weeks have convinced me that they're going to win it. I really do, even though they have a tough run in. But, yeah, welcome back to the channel, mate. Good to see you back to full effect. So, yeah, we're dusting off the old subscribers. We love to see it, but, no, welcome back to the channel, my friend. But, yeah. Look at that momentum bar as well. I mean, oh, Jesus. I mean, bar that part in the game where Liverpool seemed like they were a little bit on top for a short period. Oh, another one of those games that comes and goes where we just do not take our chances. We do not take our chances. And hopefully that can be ironed out next season. To be honest, it sounds ridiculous to say given the fact we're 11th in the table, right? But I actually think we're only 3 signings maybe off an actual genuine title challenge. I really believe that, you know, because I think first of all, if we get a holding midfielder to play next to Enzo Fernandez, go back to whether it's a 3-4-3 that we play, or a 3-4-2-1, or a 4-3-3, I still think we need a holding midfielder next to Enzo Fernandez to really unlock him in terms of giving him more license to get on the ball and make things happen, which he's so good at. I think obviously we need a striker because Havertz just isn't really cutting it over the space of 38 games. I think it's evident to say right now. And I think there's a debate, obviously, as to whether we need a goalkeeper or not, and it seems pretty divided as to whether... Well, not actually pretty divided. It seems about 80% to 20% of Chelsea fans are in favour of us getting a new goalkeeper. The only thing is, the market for goalkeepers right now isn't absolutely phenomenal. It looks like we'd go for someone like David Raya, Diogo Costa, who'd be a good one in terms of the fact he's so good in possession. Gregor Kobel is another one, I suppose, that would be up there. Who else is there? Robert Sanchez, even though he's not starting for Brighton right now. So Emi Martinez maybe, but is he good enough in possession to play for an elite level club who want to play a possession based style of play ideally? So yeah, I think a goalkeeper, a holding midfielder and a striker, and I think we could really be cooking next season, especially with players like Levi Colwill coming back, Malo Gusto coming in, Christopher Nkunku coming in. Especially, I think if we sign Joao Felix permanent as well. Like I said, if you're new to the stream, I really would be so gutted if we don't sign this guy permanent. I think he's an absolute baller. I really do. Makes things happen out of nothing, which we haven't seen since Hazard, if I'm honest. And even before Hazard, we rarely saw before Hazard as well. Maybe, Zola, obviously there's... To be fair, I'm chatting shit there. There's been a host of world-class players who've made things out of nothing. But you know what I mean? It's just the fact we've been starved from it for so long. But I think Felix is an absolutely world-class talent in the making, to be honest. I really do. But yeah. Give it 1 or 2 more minutes. Leave your thoughts in the game in the comment section below, lads. Liverpool's midfield is shocking, says Daniel Knight. It absolutely is. They need at least 2 midfielders in the summer to completely refresh that midfield. Actually, in terms of... I named out the positions we need. If you're going on the 3 players I want us to replace them with... You know what? In terms of that, I did a video on the channel a few weeks ago. 3 signings that Chelsea need to make them title contenders next season. I want you to go and watch that right now. I want you to click on that video, search up on my channel 3 signings for Chelsea, and it should come up. I picked 3 players. I picked a goalkeeper, a holding midfielder and a striker that Chelsea should sign that would make us title contenders next season. And I still stand by it. I still do stand by it. Even though there was a midfielder I put forward, I think I'd go for another midfielder now. Don't get me wrong, the midfielder I put forward, I'd be 100% happy if we signed, but I think Moises Caicedo, he's the one I didn't put forward. I think if we got him, I really rate Moises Caicedo. I really do, and if you're a fan of the channel, you know that. If Arsenal get 9 points out of 9 from Liverpool, Newcastle City, then they deserve it, but feel like they may drop points or a few, but it will go down to the wire in my opinion. 100% it will go down to the wire. That game at the Etihad, I think... You know what? I think I'm the only one that thinks this, and I'm probably chatting shit, but I think Arsenal might actually win that. I really do. Don't get me wrong, the game against Liverpool at the weekend is going to be tough. Newcastle away is going to be tough, especially after last season and the momentum Newcastle are on, the fans behind Eddie Howe with that electric football. It's going to be hard, but yeah, like I said, Chelsea fans especially, but everyone in general, go and watch that video I did in the channel, 3 signings that will make Chelsea title contenders next season, and let me know what you think about it. Comment on that video. Comment on the video right now in the next, however long after you watch the video or before you watch it, saying that you came from this stream, and then give me your opinions on the 3 signings and who you would sign for Chelsea to make us potential title contenders next season. I'd be intrigued to see. So go and watch the video right now. We're going to end the stream, so go and watch that video and find out the 3 players I think would make Chelsea. I did out a whole graphic and stuff for how the team would look and everything. It just looks really smooth. I can't lie. It looks satisfying. I love me a good lineup. I love me a good lineup concept. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, acting like there is any ladies and girls in this stream. But it's just a metaphor. It's just a phrase of expression, really. But yeah, lads, it's been a pleasure once again. Leave a like on the stream right now if you want me to do more streams. I will be looking to do more streams, whether it be Chelsea related or not in the future. And stay tuned to the channel. Turn on notifications so you get notified when I'm live. And 10 minutes or so after you get the notification, then I should be live on the channel, because I do like to let the people come into the stream before I fully started, and obviously get the details of the stream sorted out beforehand and never before I actually go live. But just to answer your quick fire questions, I want to miss out with the European football next season, so we play like once a week. I completely agree. And would you take Kane at Chelsea? Of absolutely fucking course I would. I think he'd be an absolutely brilliant signing, but unfortunately it won't happen because he will not leave Spurs for us, and Daniel Levy certainly won't sell him to us, especially after the whole Luka Modric scenario in 2011, where we bid 30 million for him at the time, which was a lot of money, and they sold him to Real Madrid for 20 the next season. So, but yeah, lads, like I said, thanks very much for contributing to the stream. Really do appreciate the support as per usual. Honestly, really appreciate the support, because there's a lot better things you could be doing than watching Nua, to be fair, on at 11:30 on a Tuesday night. So I really do appreciate it, like I said. And yeah, turn on those bell notifications to know when I go live next. And leave a like on the stream, like I said, if you want me to do more streams. Go and check out that Chelsea 3 signings video, like I said, or any other video. I did a video, just put it out today, where I reviewed every single match from the weekend just gone by in the Premier League, where we looked at the Premier League title race, the relegation battle, and the top 4 teams, and of course, every other team in between as well, like your Brentfords, your Fulhams, your Brightons, your teams that are on the beach, so to speak. And, I think that is all that I have to go through. So leave a like on the stream. Go and watch another video right now. Subscribe to the channel. We are closing in on 2,000 subscribers. That would be absolutely huge. And Chelsea, we move on now to Wolves away on Saturday, and then it is the big one at the Bernabeu against Real Madrid in the first leg of that Champions League quarter-final tie. So as I said, lads, thanks very much. Appreciate the support, and chat to you in a while.